All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music and doing it in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. Okay, going to be talking about The Who. No, not the World Health Organization. All right, that's the other channel I do. I'll throw a link to that channel. I hate to promote cross promote, and it's because I lose either way. I mean, I might gain a few subscribers, but then I gain other things, and I don't want to get into that right now. But here's David Knopfler and Crow Gifts, which is a fantastic um, Americana acoustic roots album. If you like his brother Mark, I'm thinking you'll probably like David. I discovered David Knopfler back in 1987, and I wasn't that into Dire Straits until Money for Nothing and all that stuff hit. Obviously, when I was a kid, Sultans of Swing was on the radio, and that's when I think David was in Dire Straits. He left in the early days and never looked back, but he's put out a number of fantastic albums. Lips Against Steel was one of them, but this here really highlights his brilliance as a songwriter and as a creator, just a very creative guy, and his lyrics will never put you to sleep. The music might be kind of subdued, but the stories are very vivid. So check out Crow Gifts from David Knopfler. I don't think you'll be disappointed in it. If you are, it's okay. I've become a little bit more rootsy and Americana in my musical selections as of late. It might be the way the world is now. It might be the fact that I don't want the music to make my ears bleed. I've said that for years, that when I hear something that's loud and obnoxious and doesn't have a whole lot of melody to it, I'm just I change the channel. I'm pretty quick doing that, and it's just not my thing. So yeah, a lot of people will send me stuff, and I'm like, yeah, if that works for you, it's good for what it is, but it's just not something I'm gonna listen to personally. So, Pete Townshend is hopeful for another Who tour. Okay, where did this come from? It's just following Pete Townshend the last couple of years. It's been like, no, I don't want to be in the Who. Yes, maybe I'll be in the Who. No, I don't like Roger. Yes, I kind of like Roger. So it's like back and forth. He can't really make up his mind. It says here, although he and bandmate Roger Daltrey have made differing comments, they sure have, on whether the band will ever tour again. Pete reveals in a new interview that he's open to the idea of it. Oh, okay. Because the last time I think he did an interview, he said, nah, there's no sense of doing it. I don't want to play those songs anymore. I mean, he just went off on a tangent saying he was just tired of the whole thing. He wasn't very enthusiastic. And fans don't want to hear that. If you're just showing up for the check, they're going to say you could just stay home, because I don't want to see you if you're your heart really isn't in it. But then again, maybe you can fool the people and they don't know. I mean, how many of these rock bands that are still touring are really into it? There are a few, but most of them, I think, just want to cash a check. And so even if that's Pete's motivation, I think most fans will just overlook that. It's, again, Daltrey and Townshend, they're together. That's the most important thing. And I went to go see The Who. I've never seen The Who before. I got that off my bucket list. Last time they had this orchestra, and people were telling me it was phenomenal. I watched some footage from YouTube videos, uploaded videos from cell phones, and most of them were really impressive. Here and there are some rough edges compared to the halcyon days of The Who. But again, I can lower my expectations some. I'm unwilling to throw my expectations in the trash can, though. A lot of people do that, so they can go to the concert and think to themselves, yes, this is just like 1987. I love this, and in hindsight, it's not. But with The Who, because they had the orchestra, and it's Pete and Roger, for crying out loud. Go see Pete and Roger. Legends, those guys probably shouldn't still be around. I'm just saying. I mean, British Invasion Band. A lot of people are going to forget all of the early days of the Who and all those '60s tunes that they put out that you'll never hear on the radio. For me, I really picked up on the Who from their '70s catalog into the early '80s, and they're just a fantastic band. And to have Pete and Roger really is a blessing these days. Anyway, he says, I don't know what's going to happen with the Who. I'm hoping Roger and I can find some common ground and find some way to work again, possibly without an orchestra, because I think we've done that. All right. So you've been there and done that. So no orchestra. Check that box. Again, fans really liked the orchestra, but if you're just going to do a basic stripped down band, I think people would dig that too, because you could probably yell songs out from the crowd and they might play them. You just don't know. It would be cool. He says, we've done that. And also, there's this sense that we're in the last tour period of our career. So, what he's trying to say here is they could cash in on one more tour before they keel over. And he said that in another interview about, we want to do another tour before we die. I don't think that's a good idea, but maybe we should. And he's very confusing. I think if he was less confusing, he and Roger would be out on tour right now. That's what I'm thinking. But Pete says, I'm encouraged by seeing what Roger's doing in his solo tour. It seems to me that if we put a small band together and just decided to throw Bleep up against the wall, it might be great. And that's kind of a reference to just, throwing anything out there. People might enjoy that. And I think they would. I think you're going to have hardcore Who fans going, and they're going to be happy if the band does a deeper track or they do a song they haven't done in ages. And just to see those two guys up on stage still, it's fairly miraculous that Daltrey and Townshend are still here. It's cool. It's very similar to Keith and Mick. That's like the nucleus, the core, and they're still around. And if the Stones can do it, I think the Who can do it too. Unfortunately, Pete says, now this is kind of the sad part, is that he and Roger don't talk, noting that it might be difficult to land on something that we both share an interest in. But it's there for the taking, I think. So that sentence, the second part, is kind of weird. I guess they have to agree on how to do the Who. That's what it sounds like. Pete has no plans to convince Roger to hit the road. So I don't know. Maybe if Roger hears this, someone will pick up the phone, hopefully Roger, and say, hey, Pete, why don't we do a tour next year? He says, I'm not going to bully Roger to do anything. I don't want to have the job that I used to have around the time of Quadrophenia, which was bullying everybody in the Who to do exactly what I wanted them to do. Those were the days where Pete was truly the leader of the band. I think Roger is now the leader of the band. What's left of the band. Anyway, he says, I'm hopeful. I'm certainly not saying that we won't do anything, but Roger and I do have a bit of a river to cross. And once we cross that river, we'll see what happens. So they need to cross the river, and then maybe something good will happen. Crossing the river would likely be a phone call. So someone needs to call the other person and say, hey, what do you want to do? I think we should do one more Who tour, and then the Who might actually come back, which would be awesome for one more tour. I would commend them to do like a farewell tour, so long as they don't do a continuous, never-ending farewell tour. I think, and we can probably all agree on this, that they only have one more tour in them, like one more good, comprehensive, play all the venues that you missed the last time type of tour in them left. So we'll see. Just like Pete says, we'll see what happens here. But Pete kind of going back and forth with different statements. I thought it was over. Maybe it's not over. We shall see. It's not over till somebody sings the last note. I just made that up. It's not over until somebody, the fat lady singing, but that doesn't make sense to me because there are many fat ladies who sing, and it's definitely not over, right? So they'll come back and sing again. David Knopfler, all right, Crow Gifts. You should check this out. Really good album. If you don't like this type of music, I get it. It's kind of where I'm headed these days, though, musically, whether it's, country or bluegrass or acoustic music, or I don't know. I'm just getting into this music because I like real musical instruments. I like to hear things isolated where I can hear that drum part really well, or I can hear that bass drop in there. And that's how I grew up listening to music. The bassist would come in and that bottom end would just, I don't know. It was like effervescence in the song. And now everything is just mashed together. Production is all mashed and compressed, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I like to hear all the nuance. So, anyway, lots of nuance there with David Knopfler and this channel as well. I want to thank everybody for being here. God bless you. And it's a crazy year, 2024. I do want to say this. At some point, as this year rolls on, I'm planning on doing some political stuff on this channel that has to do with what's happening in the world. Like probably once a week, maybe on Sunday evening, I'm thinking might be a good time for it, where I just vent on all of my political thoughts they're accumulating, and I need to dump them out. So I may be dumping them on you guys. And if it's something that you like, please watch the videos and share the videos. If you don't like it, I'll know because nobody will watch it. But I need to get this stuff out of my system, and doing little bits and pieces within these videos is a good thing. And I'm probably still going to do that. But at some point, I'm just going to go down a laundry list of things that are really irritating me, and I'm just going to throw them out there. And I think we need to talk directly to each other during this election season and just in general about the things that are important and getting to the heart of issues rather than worrying about personalities or other issues that have nothing to do with the future of this country. So anyway, you'll find that out when I do it. I might start doing it this Sunday. I'm not sure. There is so much stuff to talk about. And anyway, I'll just leave it there. And you can check out my other channel called Stopping the Who. Stopping the Who. Like, don't let Daltrey and Townshend continue. Stop them from doing this. No, it's actually about the World Health Organization. So I figured I would plug that because talking about the Who here. All right. I'm done, folks. I'm definitely done. See you soon.